Siddheshvar Paramahamsa Namine Gaur Karana Sarvaya Radha Krishna Prasthayate Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharne Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschati Desata. Think about how fortunate you are, how very, very fortunate you are to have been able to come into contact with a pure devotee of God, someone who is without fault, who is without blemish, someone whose desire is only moment to moment to please God, to serve Him in every way, any way possible. Someone who is actually influencing people around the world in such a nice, wonderful way. Hold him in your heart. He may not be here physically, but he is within your heart. Hold him. Hold his feet. Bow down and grab his feet and don't let go. Because without him, life isn't worth living. It has no meaning. It has no purpose, no value. So we're looking at chapter 15, the transcendental madness of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Haribol, Daryl. Nice to see you. Hare Krishna. Ellen. Haribol. Haribol. Nice. Thank you. Sharni, thank you for coming back. Haribol. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, or whatever time it is, wherever you are. The 15th chapter of the ANTYA LILA is summarized as follows. After seeing the Upala Bhoga ceremony of Lord Jagannath, for those of you who don't know, Upala Bhoga is a particular type of offering of prasadam, or offering of bhoga, performed just behind the Garuda Stamba. Now, you may not know what a Garuda Stamba is, but it's a column, a great big, like a cement column or stone column with Garuda sitting up at the top. That's called a Garuda Stamba. It's offered on a stone slab located behind the Garuda Stamba. The stone slab is called the Upala. All the food is offered within the temple room, just below the altar of Jagannath. Now this bhoga, however, was offered on this stone slab within the vision of the public. Usually offerings are not made directly within the vision of the public. The public comes in after the offering is made, because actually usually when the offering is made, the curtains are closed. And anyway, but this is offered within the sight, the view of the public, and therefore it is called Upala Bhoga. At that time, he began to think of Krishna engaging in his different activities and pastimes. and transcendental emotions excited Sri Chaitanya once again. The Lord said, "Through the hearts of the gopis, though the hearts of the gopis are like high-standing hills, they are inundated by the waves of nectarian ocean of Krishna's beauty. The Lord's sweet voice enters their ears and gives them transcendental bliss. The touch of his body is cooler than millions and millions of moons all together, and the nectar of his bodily fragrance overfloods the entire world. Oh, my dear friend, that Krishna, who is the son of Nanda Maharaj, and whose lips are exactly like the nectar of the most wonderful honey, is attracting my five senses as if by force." Lord Sri Krishna's beauty, the sound of his words and the vibration of his flute, his touch, his fragrance, and the taste of his lips are full of an indescribable sweetness. When all these features attract my five senses at once, all of my senses all ride together as if on a single horse of my mind. But they all want to go in five different directions. On the night of the Rasa dance, the gopis, bereaved by Krishna's absence, searched for Krishna from one forest to another. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu adopted this same transcendental thoughts as the gopis, and he was filled with transcendental ecstatic emotion. "My dear friend," he would say, "you should try to control your senses." "What shall I say? I cannot become angry at my senses. Is it their fault? It is Krishna's beauty, his sound, his touch, his fragrance, his taste. They are by nature extremely attractive. These five features are attracting all five of my senses, and each wants to drag my mind in a different direction. And thus, the life of my mind is in great danger. I am like a horse that's ridden in all five different directions at once, and so I am in danger of losing my life." After speaking in this way, Lord Chaitanya caught hold of the neck of Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar, and he said, "My dear friends, please listen to me. What shall I do? Where shall I go? Where can I go to get Krishna? Please, both of you, tell me how I can find him." This is the ecstasy that awaits the pure devotee of God. This is not ecstasy in union. This is not absorption in the Brahma Jyoti. This is seeking God, seeking Krishna, the blue boy of Vrindavan, with all of his senses, with all of his mind, completely given way, completely lost in his desperate search. Swarup Damodar Goswami recited a verse from Gita Govinda. And this search was just suitable to the Lord's emotions. "Here," he said, "here in the arena of the Rasa dance, I too remember Krishna, who is always fond of joking and performing pastimes." Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then exhibited the ecstatic transformations that are known as Bhavodaya, Bhava Sandhi, Bhava Sabalya, and so forth. The Lord experienced all 8 of these kinds of ecstatic transformations, and he relished them so very, very much. All of these different kinds of transformations. Bhavodaya, Bhavasandhi, Bhavasabalya. All of these different transformations are established in the books of the Goswamis. What they do, how they look, how a person that has them acts, and so forth. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had Swarup Damodar sing that same verse again and again and again. And each time he sang it, the Lord tasted it all over again. And thus he danced again and again and again. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu once more began to feel these ecstatic emotions when he saw the garden on the beach by the ocean. He thought he was in Vrindavan. He's going towards the ocean, maybe to visit Haridas. And there's a garden by the beach, and he thinks he's in Vrindavan. Lord Chaitanya mistook the garden for Vrindavan, and he very quickly entered it. He was absorbed in ecstatic love for Krishna, and he wandered throughout the garden, searching for Krishna. After Krishna disappeared with Radharani during the rasa dance, the gopis would wander in the forest, all the different forests of Vrindavan, looking everywhere for him, looking behind the bushes, looking under the rocks, everywhere. In the same way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wandered in that garden by the sea. Absorbed in the ecstatic mood of the gopis, Lord Chaitanya wandered here and there. He began to inquire after Krishna by quoting all the various verses to all the trees and creepers. He would be talking to them, quoting verses from the Bhagavatam. O Kuta tree, he would say, Priyala tree, Pasana, Asana, Kavidara, O Jambu tree, O Arka tree, O Bel, Abakula, and Mango and Kadamba tree, O Nipa tree, and all the other trees living on the bank of the Jamuna for the welfare of all. Please, please let me know where Krishna has gone. We have lost our minds, and we are almost dead from our lost love. And just as before, the devotees saw all the symptoms of transcendental ecstatic love manifest, the shivering, the goosebumps, all the different manifestations of love for Krishna. Although externally he was bewildered, he appeared to be bewildered, nevertheless, within himself, he was tasting this magnificent bliss of love in separation. This is something the Mayavadis don't understand. They don't understand that the goal of life is not to be in union with Krishna or absorbed into the impersonal Brahman. That is not where the ecstasy lies. That is not where the beauty, the real depth of everything, that is not where it's at. Where it's really at is what comes before that. The ecstasy of not being able to find him. The ecstasy of separation. Longing for Krishna. Desiring nothing. Even your life is easily forfeit simply to be able to find Krishna. Lord Chaitanya said, I just now had Krishna. But unfortunately, I've lost him again. At that time, Ramananda Roy made the Lord sit down and dissipated his fatigue with a fan. the ocean of ecstatic love for Krishna. Sometimes it is not easy to understand, even for such demigods as Lord Brahma. And by enacting his pastimes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu submerged himself in that endless ocean, that deepest of oceans of bliss. And his heart was absorbed in that endless love. This is the kind of love that we think we can find in the opposite sex, but it's not there. That's just a perverted reflection of this love, this amazing, amazing love. And thus he exhibited so many various ways the exalted position of one who actually experiences transcendental love for Krishna. And now we begin chapter 16. Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu tastes the nectar from the lips of Lord Sri Krishna. When the Bengali devotees of Lord Chaitanya returned to Jagannath Puri, there was a gentleman whose name was Kalidasa, who was an uncle of Raghunath Goswami, and went with them to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Kalidasa had tasted the remnants of food of all the Vaishnavas in Bengal. He had tasted the remnants of food of all the transcendental devotees in Bengal. So he's not talking about just prasadam, he's talking about actually having tasted the food off the plates of the food that they had already eaten most of. Even Jadu Thakura, and because of this, he was so fortunate to receive the shelter of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. As I said, Kalidasa was the uncle of Raghunath Goswami, who visited Jagannath Puri along with the Bengali Vaishnavas. In addition to his incessant chanting, he was renowned for his great eagerness to honor the prasadam, the remnants of Vaishnavas. He would hide while the Vaishnavas ate, and then he would secretly relish the leftovers from their rejected plates. He'd say, "Oh, I'll clean that up for you, no problem, I'll clean it up." And instead of taking it directly to where the dishes are clean and scraping them off, he would eat the remnants from the Vaishnavas. Once he ate the remnants of the saintly Jadu Thakur, and later he received great mercy from Sri Chaitanya for his enthusiastic disposition. He even managed to drink the water that had washed Lord Chaitanya's feet, thus accruing valuable spiritual blessings. We'll tell that story in more detail in a minute. When Kalidasa used to throw dice in jest, he would throw the dice while chanting Hare Krishna. In fact, Kalidasa did everything, even his business dealings. He would do it while chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur warns that men of this age should not imitate the jesting of a Mahabhagavat like Kalidasa. He said, if someone imitates him by playing with dice or gambling while chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, he will certainly become a victim of offenses unto the holy name. It is said, Harinama Bale Pape Pravriti. One must not commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting the Hare Krishna mantra. So playing with dice is certainly gambling, as Yudhisthira can attest, but it is clearly said here that Kalidasa only played in jest. He did not gamble. He just, just having fun. A Mahabhagavat is capable of doing anything and everything without judgment. But such a person never forgets the basic principles. And therefore it is said, Vaishnavara Kriya Mudra Vijneha Na Bujaya. No one can understand the activities of a pure devotee. We cannot imitate Maha-devotees like Kalidasa. So keep that in mind if you ever go to Las Vegas or Hong Kong or someplace like that where there's a lot of gambling going on. When Kavi Karnapur was only 7 years old, he was initiated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu into the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Interestingly, though, this 7-year-old boy refused to chant the holy name out loud, but rather he would chant constantly within his mind. Another day, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said to the boy, "My dear Karnapur, please recite for me." And upon that moment, this 7-year-old boy composed the following verse and expressed it before everyone present. He said, "Lord Sri Chaitanya is just like a bluish lotus flower for the ears. He is ointment for the eyes. He is a necklace of Indranila gems for the chest, and universal ornaments for the gopi damsels of Vrindavan. Let that Lord Sri Hari Krishna be glorified." Now, although the boy was only 7 years old and he had no formal education, still, he composed this amazing verse. Everyone in the presence of Lord Chaitanya was struck with wonder. This is the glory of Lord Chaitanya. His causeless mercy, which even the demigods, which are headed by Brahma, cannot even begin to estimate. Later, this Karnapur became the greatest of poets among all the Vaishnava acharyas. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ate the remnants of food known as Balava Bhoga, he described the glories of these remnants of the Lord's food, and then he fed all the devotees the prasad. And thus they all tasted Adaramrita, the nectar from the lips of Lord Sri Krishna. In these chapters of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, ANTYA LILA, KRISHNA'S narrates the details of Sri Chaitanya's ecstasy. Due to his feelings of separation, a variety of occurrences would trigger and induce his transcendental madness. This would agitate a variety of bodily transformations. So many different ecstatic symptoms that could only be pacified by the loud chanting of the holy name. After coming back to external consciousness, Lord Chaitanya would again fall into a deep mood of separation, recounting his transcendental experiences to all the devotees. At this time, he would request Ramananda Roy and Swarup to soothe his consciousness by reciting the appropriate verses from the scriptures and singing the select songs. And thus ends Wait a minute. Is that in? No? Oh, wait, there's more. But wait, there's more. The Prasadam of Jagannath. After taking darshan and tasting the Mahaprasadam from Lord Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya meditated on how the food had actually touched Krishna's lotus lips. This sent him into a fit of ecstasy. With the help of his associates, Sri Chaitanya became immersed in thoughts of Krishna's flute, which is eternally enjoying the nectar of Krishna's lips. Remnants left by Krishna are called phela. Anyone who obtains even a small portion must be considered as most fortunate. One who is only ordinarily fortunate cannot attain this kind of mercy. Only people who have attained the full mercy of Krishna can receive these kinds of remnants. The word sukriti refers to pious activities performed by the mercy of Lord Shri Krishna. One who is fortunate enough to attain such mercy receives the remnants of the Lord's food, and thus they become glorious. After saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bade farewell to all of his servants and disciples. After seeing the next offering of food to Lord Chaitanya, in the function known as Upala Bhoga, he returned to his own quarters. Expecting the mercy of Srila Rupa, Swarupa, Sanatan, and Raghunath-das, and taking their lotus feet upon my head, I, the most fallen Krishnadas Kaviraj, continue chanting the epic of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, which in itself is much sweeter than the nectar of transcendental bliss. Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. Hare Krishna. So, does anyone have a question or a comment? Don't be shy. Speak up. Daryl, you have a question?
Haribol, sir. No, I'm sorry, I'm full of cold at the moment, so not really a question. No, it's just that what you said about one who is ordinarily fortunate. It made me think, yeah, does that just means like materially fortunate kind of thing, not like being in.
Well, taken in context, it would seem that there are gradations of good fortune even among devotees, and one who is extraordinarily fortunate may taste the prasadam from the lips of Lord Krishna. And this, according to KRSNA'S Kaviraj, only is bestowed upon those very, very unusual, rare devotees, like our own Srila Prabhupada.
Of course, yeah. But just the thought of being able to drink the water that had been washed Lord Chaitanya's feet.
Well, Lord Chaitanya left strict instructions that you were not supposed to do that.
Mm.
But when Kalidas washed his feet, he said, "Oh, let me dry them for you." And so he's drying his feet, and he took the water, took it away, and immediately he drank the whole bowl of water. And then a few days later, he came back again to wash his feet, and Lord Chaitanya said, "Hey, you did that once already. You've gotten your quota of mercy. So no more."
Yeah, don't push it, kind of thing.
Right.
You've done it once.
Exactly.
Wow, amazing. Oh, that's amazing. Haribol, thank you, sir.
Haribol. Thank you, sir. I
Awesome.
hope you get better.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's just a cold. I had a breakaway down at the New Forest, and I've come back, and I had 12 hours sleep, so that was good. So I've just got to take it steady. Yeah.
Stay
Haribol,
well. Stay well. Namaste.
and also, I'm getting used to the hour difference as well, because our clocks went back last week as well. I nearly got caught out and missed your talk today. So.
Well, I'm glad you made it. Glad you made
Haribol,
it.
thank you.
Haribol.
Thank you, sir. Krishna.
Let's see, who's this? Chaitanya Das? You say 4 days? 4 days what? What happens in 4 days?
So Siddheshvar, you said the celebration would be 3 days, and they corrected you. The Govardhan celebration will be 4 days.
That the celebration is going to be last for 4 days? Well, silly me. Let's see. I've got 1, 2, 3. You're right. I can't count. Evidently. So we'll be celebrating Govardhan Puj for 4 days. Thank you very much for that correction. Are there any other questions or comments or thoughts or anything before we turn it back over to the lovely and talented Narayan Dasi? Thank you once again for joining me and allowing me this darshan to be with you guys. Thank you so very much. Once again, we have 2 more days on, 2 more, let's see, it'll be this coming Sunday and then the following Thursday that we'll finish the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And then the following Saturday will be, the 14th, we'll be talking about Govardhan. And then after that, after we finish with Govardhan Puj celebration, we will open the Nectar of Devotion. Okay, and that'll be on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Okay, the Pasamite Kirtan will continue as it has on Thursdays and Sundays, but we'll take the scriptural talk and put it onto Thursdays and Saturday evenings. I hope some of you, or all of you, or more of you will still be able to join. Thank you very much. Namaste. I'll turn it over now to Narayan Dasi. Haribol. Namaste. Hare Krishna.